Okay, so in this video, I need to paint this garage because the tenant smoked in it and there's a slight odor. So I'm going to try with this Hills Restoration. It is water-based, so it's not going to be like a shellac primer to seal it in, but the odor is very minor. That should work, and I'm going to use a normal airless sprayer. This is a Graco Magnum Pro X17, so it's a step up above the basic consumer grades. It's like for just a landlord that uses it occasionally. So I'm going to go over how to set up the sprayer real quick and then how to paint the garage. Also, I lost my cam mount, so I'm going to have to basically hold the cam and set it up, so sorry about that. So to start out, I've already connected my hose. This just connects right here on the output of the pump. I connected my wand and spray tip to here. So here I'm using a 30-inch wand, so I don't have to bend down or strain. And I'm using the Rack X guard. This is a low pressure spray tip, so it should reduce the overspray. I've had good luck with these. And this is a 517 spray tip, so the spray width will be twice of 5 or 10, and the orifice size is 0.017. So the next step I need to do is prime this with the paint. So I need to get all the air bubbles out. I have water in the hose right now. I flushed it out yesterday to make sure there were no issues. So also make sure your filters are clear. There's a filter in here and a filter normally in the handle right here. So make sure those are clean and can flow. You could just run straight water through here to make sure all the flow looks good. So next I'm going to put the input, which is the one with this strainer on it, into the paint that I'm going to be using. So this can just sit in here. I'm going to leave this out for now because I have to flush it. There's water all in the line, so I need to run paint all the way through here and then all the way out here. Once that's completely primed and full of paint, then I need to do the same thing to the hose. So I'm going to make sure and set this flow to down on this sprayer. Makes it go straight to the input and then back out this hose right here. So I'm just going to run it. I'm going to set the pressure at a low setting, but high enough so it doesn't take forever. So I'm just going to turn it on manually until I see paint come out here, and I'm going to immediately kill it. If it's not coming out, you can press this prime button if you have one. They should knock any air bubbles loose, so it'll take a good prime. There you go. So I got paint coming out of there. So all I did was stick that in there along with this. Now I need to bleed the entire hose of the water or air that's in there. And I have completely flushed the line, so I have nothing but paint coming out. And you can see this is a 50-foot hose, but it holds a ton of water. So make sure you have all the paint coming out and it's not watered down still. So now this is ready to paint. So I'm going to show you the normal technique used. Also, make sure to have your PPE, so wear a respirator so you don't inhale the latex particles. If you are spraying with an oil-based or another solvent-based like alcohol, you need a VOC mask. This is just going to catch particles. And then gloves and large goggles to make sure you don't get anything on your face. And then make sure you wear long sleeves, because when you're painting the ceiling wall and even the upper part of the walls, you'll get overspray on you. So before I start painting, I'm going to make sure I have a good spray pattern. So it should be 10 inches wide when you're about a foot away. So about right here, I'm going to keep the wand parallel at all times. It's fine if you go slightly angled when you get to the top or bottoms. And then when I get to the end of the pass, I'm going to release the trigger before I get to the end so that it's a nice transition. If you start, if you pull the trigger before you start, there'll be a big layer of paint, so you want to be moving already when you start pulling the trigger. So I'm going to be moving like this and then start pulling the trigger. And I can see that there's kind of fluctuations in pressure on my pump, so I'm going to turn up the pressure a little bit so it's smoother. That's a lot better. And on the ends, I see a nice smooth transition, and there's not what's called runners, I think they're called, but it'll be a heavy spot on the ends. You don't want to see those. There's a nice layer of paint, and it's consistent across basically the full width. It might get a little thin on the ends, but you don't see any you don't see any big buildup right here. Fingers, that's what, when there's heavy buildup on the end. So now that the spray pattern's dialed in close enough, as far as spraying, it's simply starting at the top. And again, you need to be moving the wand when you start pulling the trigger, keeping it perpendicular to the wall, 12 inches away approximately, till you get to the bottom. And then same thing, release the trigger right before you get to the end. And make sure you do not stop moving the wand. Then on the next pass, and you don't have to go all the way to the top again before starting, you could start from the bottom. So you could go up, down. So when I do one pass, on the next pass I'm going to overlap 50%, go up, release the trigger, and then move over 50%, and then start moving, and then pull the trigger, hold it, and going down. And I'm just going to repeat this process the entire garage. I'm going to do the walls first, and then I'm going to get to the ceiling, and I'll go over some tips, but it's really basically the same process. Alright, I've gotten all the walls done, so I'm going to start the ceiling. So the process is the exact same, but with doing this, you have a lot of overspray falling directly on you. So you probably want to have the wand angled slightly. It doesn't really matter if you walk backwards or forward, it's just preference. But same thing, start and overlap 50% and continue going. And keep a slight angle if you want to avoid overspraying all over you. Make sure you're wearing all your PPE when doing this. And here is the garage when it's done. This is just one coat, so if you need to put some more coats, it's the same exact process. You can tell if it's too light by areas like this. And if you were starting with bare drywall that had never been primed, it really sucks this up, so you definitely have to do more than one coat. Since I just needed to mask some slight odor, this was fine for me. But you can see it could probably use another coat just to make it look more even, but I don't really care at this point. And that is how to paint a garage with an airless sprayer. Thanks for watching.